Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Ginji's Rescue Team. So lately I have been playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and while I was playing I had a memory of this manga, of seeing it on the shelf when I was a kid and I was buying manga, right? I was mainly buying Pokemon Adventures, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and some Zelda stuff. So I just never got this, even though I was a big fan of the Mystery Dungeon games. So I finally picked this up, got it off eBay for like $10 or something, and I enjoyed this quite a bit. So the manga opens up with our main character Ginji, who is the Torchic, but we get to see him in the real world first. So like a big part of Mystery Dungeon is you, the player character, is a human that gets turned into a Pokemon in this Pokemon world. So before we get to see Torchic and Mudkip and stuff, we see our main character Ginji. It is the day before his birthday. He rushes home to try and find his birthday presents and falls asleep. And then he wakes up in the Pokemon world as a Torchic, and he meets Mudkip. And so, very much like the game, there's a Caterpie in trouble. Ginji and Mudkip go and save the Caterpie. There is an Ariados fight, which I don't think is in the game. It's been a long while since I played the start of the game, because I played that in the demo like 3 years ago or something. I didn't replay that part. So I don't think there was an Ariados fight. I think you just find Caterpie and you're out of there. So that was added. And then Mudkip wants to start a rescue team and tries to get Ginji to join him. Eventually Ginji relents and they team up. And then they go on a quest to find Natu, and Gengar, sort of our villain of this, tags along. And so they're on a quest to find Natu. Eventually they run into Zapdos, who is sort of attacking and making Pokemon run away. They fight Zapdos, they defeat him, and then they eventually get to Natu, who talks about, Ginji being a human and how a human's gonna be like the cause of like the destruction of Earth and whatnot, because they're cursed by Ninetales. And they go back to town. Gengar's there, and he has told everybody that Ginji is cursed. The world's going to be destroyed because of him. We have to stop him. And from there, for most of this manga, we're now in the fugitive arc of the game, where Ginji and Mudkip are on the run. They can't go back to town because everybody there wants, to stop them. And so they are just making their way to try and, well, they're not even trying to find Ninetales at the start. They're just making their way to get away from people. Along the way, they run into Moltres and have to defeat him, and then Articuno and have to defeat him. The difference is, in this manga, Gengar is always one step ahead of Ginji and Mudkip, and is basically feeding lies to Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno. Absol shows up for a minute, steps in to stop Articuno, and then eventually Ginji and Mudkip head off, meet Ninetales, have a fight with Alakazam and his team, so Alakazam, Tyranitar, and Charizard. And then they meet Ninetales, who basically clears Ginji of any suspicion, and then tells them that actually the thing that's going to end the world is Groudon. And so Ginji and Mudkip and everybody that's been in the manga heads off to fight Groudon. Gengar, changes his ways and helps, and then they defeat Gengar, and then we end with Ginji waking up in the real world, questioning whether the adventure he just went on is real, and he finds a rescue team badge, like the one Mudkip's wearing here on the cover, in his room, basically telling the reader that everything that happened actually happened and it wasn't just a dream. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Ginji's rescue team. A lot of fun. I think this is a really good a one-volume adaptation of Mystery Dungeon. They did a pretty good job. Obviously, things are a lot different. There's a lot of stuff that was skipped. Gengar was a bit more active in this than he is in the games. He's just sort of scheming in the background a lot in the games. And, of course, Groudon isn't actually the thing that is going to, cause destruction of the world and whatnot in the game. But, it's a good stopping point, right? Having Groudon, this big legendary be your end boss, it's a good way to go. And it's funny, when I picked this up, and I've always known like Torchic and Mudkip are the main characters. I remember picking this up, a few weeks ago or whatever, and being like, man, I wonder why they picked Torchic and Mudkip. That's weird. And then I remember it's like, oh yeah, Mystery Dungeon came out during Gen 3. It makes sense that they want to use Gen 3 starters for this. But yeah, I think this is a fun little manga. If you like Mystery Dungeon, I think this is a fun read. If you know the story of Mystery Dungeon, like, you're going to know what some of the beats are. Again, it's changed up a little bit. But I do think it's enjoyable. I think, for me, like, the bookends of Ginji and the human world add a lot to it, because we always hear talk of that in the games, of how the main character, or at least the games that I played. I only played Rescue Team and Explorers of Time. So I don't know about the future games, but in those games, like, the main character was always a human, and there was always talk about him being a human. But because it's a Pokemon game, we never see, like, the human world in it. Or that doesn't really make sense. But because it's a Mystery Dungeon game in a world with only Pokemon, we never see the human world or humans. We just hear reference to them. So showing Ginji as a human, both at the start and the back, I think was really cool in this, and one of my favorite parts of this. But yeah, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Ginji's Rescue Team, a lot of fun. If you like Mystery Dungeon, I'd recommend checking it out. If you like just Pokemon manga, this is just a good one-volume manga. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.